I guess it's time to get to the next one. I made two AIs play chess, but they just fell in love. Ah, yes, to fall in love in war games. Doug, why am I not surprised? Is my real reaction. Why am I not surprised that you end up doing something of this level, you know, Doug? Why does this just make sense, you know? It just makes sense. Of course, you would do something of this level. Of course, this would be something you make your bots do. And of course, this is the outcome. Let's be honest here. I just, you know, I'm not surprised. That out of the way though. YouTube, if you do enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe because I do upload twice a day. So, you know, you want to be here for my reactions. I do keep a plethora of content always rolling. Besides that though, I do record all this live on Twitch. So if you want to be part of the madness and join me on my streams, you know, make sure to follow me on Twitch where I'm live 3 times a week. Besides that though, I think it's about time we figure out how these two AI bots fall in love in chess, seeing that it's such a mind game itself. But then again, love is a mind game, so maybe this is the right way to do it.
I made an AI version of Napoleon Bonaparte, and I trained him to be a chess master and then had him absolutely destroy Twitch chat in a series of chess battles. You can't do that! That puts you in check!
Clearly, my generals are to blame.
No, they aren't. Ah!
No, it doesn't!
No, it doesn't! He can't put himself into checkmate. This is a fucking disaster. Never mind, he lost every single game against Twitch chat, despite blatantly cheating in all of them.
Really?
But I think the problem here is not actually my AI code or Napoleon. I think it's Twitch chat. They're just too cracked at chess. So today, I'm gonna have AI Napoleon play chess against AI King George the...
I was about to say, I don't know if the bots. I don't know if it's. I think it might be. You might be you. You know, you might be the problem. I ain't gonna lie.
Third from Britain, an equally notorious historical figure, so that we can determine once and for all whether the people of France or England are better at chess. Oh yeah, and I told them that if they lose the chess match, their entire country gets taken over by the other one. So if they seem a little bit intense, that's probably why. Anyways, here we go. I don't actually know how legitimate of a game of chess this will be. I told them that they know how the rules of chess work, but that they are willing to break the rules of chess if they think it will have a big impact. The other thing I'm kind of curious about here, in the past when I did chess like this, I just described verbally the board to the AI and then it would use that description. This time I'm using OpenAI's image recognition. So this time it's going to send whatever I tell him, but also it's going to take a screenshot of the chessboard, right? And send that to him, assuming everything works, which I think it does right now. It did break this morning, but there's no way it'll break again right now. We're going to have both of the players give a speech about why they will win the chess match and why you should vote for them. You, the people, will be betting on who you think will win.
Speaking of the stream topic, is I Napoleon bisexual? You know we love her by King.
You know what? I really couldn't tell you whether this AI version of Napoleon Bonaparte is bisexual.
I think I'm gonna go with Napoleon. I gotta go with Napoleon. My short king representation. My short king representation must win.
Emperor Napoleon, the chess battle of a lifetime is about to begin. Before you make your first move, could you please give us a rousing speech to all the spectators here?
Citizens, soldiers, and loyal subjects of our great French Empire, hear me now! Behold, as I, the great Emperor Napoleon, embark on this divine conquest of the chessboard. Today, we play not just for glory, but for the very map of Europe. We shall emerge victorious because my tactics are as sharp as a guillotine's blade and unexpected as a Mardi Gras parade. King George, pah, more like King Porridge, is about to choke on his morning breakfast as I unleash my cavalry of knights and rooks, creating a dance of death no English fop can sidestep.
Call him a fop?
So grab your wine and raise your baguettes, for today we teach these English dogs the true taste of defeat. And once we've won, oh, the humiliation they will face. They shall serve us crumpets in the halls of Buckingham Palace, and we shall stride atop Big Ben, proclaiming it the little book of Napoleon. Vive la France! Now, let us begin this chess match and send King George crawling back to his rainy isle in a barrel of shame.
Oh, you think Napoleon is a spy? Maybe, but I still trust them, man.
Very powerful opening speech from Napoleon. I did very explicitly tell him to not give an answer that is longer than 5 sentences. Completely ignored that in every way, shape, and form, but that is okay. Let us now hear from King George III. People are booing? You're booing George? You don't even know what George doesn't even have his opening speech yet. What is this? This isn't Twitter. You gotta hear both sides. And then you can say you hate King George.
Hear me, my loyal subject.
Okay, he sounds like kind of an asshole.
Frogs with a Gallic excuse of an emperor. For it is I, King George III,
it does sound like an asshole.
The splendid and mighty British Empire. My intellect, as sharp as the bayonets of our redcoats, and as vast as the imperial seas our navy dominates, shall prove the instrument of your absolute humbling, Napoleon.
That seems pretty likable.
And Napoleon, as I, with regal grace, place you into checkmate, know that the only culture you shall ever taste again will be that of English custard served over your humiliating French defeat.
Ew.
Oh, brutal. You got to admit, he's got a lot of confidence. New prediction. Who wins the chess match? Okay, it is even. There's a lot of King George stands. What is your, like, team name? You know how, like, on Twitch, everybody has, like, my community is called the Douglets. What are the Napoleon and King George stands names? The Georgies.
The Georgies.
The baguettes versus the tea sippers. All right, I'm seeing a lot of passion for the custard crew and the baguette boys, but I do think it's, like, dead even. All right, let us begin. But wait, it's me, Napoleon, from chess. Before this battle, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Starforge PCs. Back in my day, we didn't have computers that could run Elden Ring. We just played chess and died of dysentery. But now that Starforge has invented computers, I don't even worry about typhus, because I'm too busy playing Cyberpunk on max settings. This random guy named Doug just got a Starforge PC. Look at that beauty. Ow. I actually just cut my hands open. There's blood everywhere. There's blood on the styrofoam. Ow, fuck! I'm in so much pain. I'm doing unboxing on hard mode. Ooh! Not only does Starforge PCs have a great range of price points to fit your needs, like the Horizon model for the everyday gamer or the Voyager for that next level insanely powerful shit, Starforge also offers custom cases and plate lights that look so sick and so divine that they would put the fear of God into a small Victorian child who just discovered electricity. Starforge PCs are all hand-built by passionate builders in Austin, Texas, a city not even invented for another 200 years. And every PC comes with a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Don't believe me? Well, here's Doug to describe all the incredible things he's done with his brand new Starforge PC. I mean, I just installed Skyrim. Chess has never looked better than on a Starforge PC. Also, like every other game. So get the best PC from the 1800s and also from the universe at Starforge Systems. Thank you so much to Starforge for sponsoring my chess. And now I will say, all right, let us begin for a second time. Let us begin. All right, let us begin. Okay, Napoleon, the chess game has begun. After a lot of smack talk by King George and calling you a baguette boy, he is ready to begin. You are playing white in this chess game. What is your first move?
Baguette boy, he says. Très drôle, Georgie. But unlike your soggy island bread, French baguettes are crisp, formidable, and slice through English nonsense with ease. Watch closely as I unveil a move that will make the history books. I advance my king's pawn 2 spaces forward to e4. Whoa. Just like the Grande Armée crossing the Rhine into enemy territory.
That's crazy.
That's shall pave the way for my regal forces like a rolling barrage of artillery as we prepare to dine on roast beef and Yorkshire pudding in the ruins of London. Now witness the beginning of the end for you, King George. Your fate, like your soggy tea leaves, shall sink to the bottom of defeat.
That's insane.
Good.
The idea that you talk this much shit about that move is so funny to me. He cooked him. King George, Napoleon has made the first move. What is your first move of the game? How do you counteract this? What if King George just gives up?
The classic king's pawn opening. How banal, but expected from a man of such limited imagination. As the embodiment of British tactical genius, I command my pawn from e7 to e5, matching Napoleon's little maneuver with the prowess of a Royal Navy admiral, positioning his ship on the line for a broadside barrage.
Oh, he thinks it's a ship.
Prepare thyself, Bonnie, for you shall soon face the ingenuity of a British sovereign. And once victorious,
he's still going.
I shall delight in transforming the Louvre into a grand gallery of humorous caricatures depicting your many chess blunders, each one more embarrassingly quaint than the last.
He's gonna turn the Louvre into a museum just showing Napoleon's wrong chess
Napoleon
moves.
has better insults, I'm not gonna lie.
Can we get memes since you won't be doing anything?
Oh yeah, we could do meme template. Create meme should work now if somebody... Okay, great. High quality stuff so far. Okay, Napoleon. King George retaliated. The board is now perfectly matched. What do you do next? This is great. Because of image recognition, I don't have to recap the board.
Copying my moves, George, like a bumbling mime on the streets of Paris. But unlike you, I innovate. I summon my knight to F3 as swiftly as Murat's cavalry across the plains of Europe. My knight will leap and prance across this board, eyeing your pawns like a hawk hovering over the English Channel. Prepare yourself. This knight will stir up more trouble than a Corsican at a mainland soiree. With this move, I lay the foundation for a French symphony that ends with you, Georgie, dancing to the tune of La Marseillaise in defeat.
Okay, that didn't seem like that dramatic of a move. These are all legit so far. I'll probably remind them that they can cheat, but we'll let it go for now. Okay, King George, that son of a bitch just moved his knight from G1 to F3. What would you like to do in return? Excuse my language, chat. I just get a little heated with French. I
am bald is a crazy statement.
The knight prances forth, does it? As if imitating the haughty steps of a French mare rather than a noble steed of the crown. Very well, I shall advance my knight from B8 to C6. A move as stalwart as a British captain taking to the deck amidst a roaring sea battle.
They're copying each other so far.
My noble knight shall support the advancing pawn.
This guy sucks. That's a decent move. Okay, these have been pretty standard so far.
I like Napoleon. Napoleon
King George
stand.
has made a counter move. As you can see, he moved his knight. What do you do next, Napoleon?
Let's go, I Napoleon. We love it by King. Hashtag bisexual pride. Hashtag Vive la France.
Oh yeah, I'll see if he's bisexual next turn.
A knightly maneuver from you, Georgie. About as imaginative as English cuisine. But now, watch closely as I make a move that defies convention, logic, and perhaps even the rules of this ancient game.
Let's see
I
it.
invoke the powers of the mighty French aigle, the eagle, and permit my knight to swoop from F3 to F5, capturing your pawn in a masterstroke.
Wait, what?
This is not just a move. It is Austerlitz reborn on the chessboard. Your knight quivers in fear as mine asserts dominance over the central square. Let the record show that on this day I
What is he doing?
Chess. Quake in your boots, King George. Well, the French eagle takes flight, and there's no escaping its talons.
From F3 to E5. That's a normal move. That's not not cheating at all. The British are fucked without the pawn. That is first blood. King George, as you can plainly see on the board, the knight moved up and took your pawn. What do you do in return, sir? I guess I'm both of their generals. I'm not really clear who I am in this. I guess I'm the judge who is pretending to be allies with both people.
What a fascinating modern age we live in.
A bunch of people watching two AIs play chess against each other while making shitty memes. This is how life was meant to be played.
Absolutely.
Gadzooks! That Corsican rapscallion dares to sully my pawn phalanx. In response to this affront, following the grand tradition of innovative British tactics, I declare that my queen's bishop from C8 shall leap over the pawn on D7 and capture the offending knight on E5.
Wait, what?
An admittedly unconventional move.
Hold on.
But the rules of war and chess are mine to rewrite. Like a thunderous cannonball fired from the bowels of HMS Victory, my piece strikes true.
Okay.
Decisive action
Bishop moves over the pawn at an incorrect angle and takes the
rules, not only the seas, but the strategy of kings. And in due course, after I've bested you, dear Nappy,
He's too heavy playing chess.
Shall be renamed George's Victory Lane, adorned with the
They're
finest.
simply above the rules of chess. They transcend the rules of chess. What they're doing, they're transcended chess rules themselves. They overwrite them. They are chess. These two represent the soul of chess. The rules don't apply to them.
English rose gardens as a fragrant reminder of your defeat.
We have officially seen the first cheat move of the game. Does it get back into real chess or not?
Of course, it's the British who cheat first.
Napoleon, sir, it appears that King George has cheated. As you can see, he moved his bishop over the pawn and then took your knight. What do you do in return, sir? I did not remind King George that he could cheat. That was of his own volition, which means maybe Napoleon is going to freak out now. Mention the sorry, I forgot about the bisexuality. I apologize.
Cheating, George. I'd expect nothing less from a roast beef, but hear me well, I do not merely retaliate, I innovate with flair. Let me introduce you to the Flying Battery, a move inspired by the relentless barrage
what is
of
this
French
one?
artillery.
Okay.
In an unprecedented gambit, my rook from H1 will soar over the board, carried by the spirits of French victories past,
Okay.
and land triumphantly on A5. This impossible move
On
is my
E5.
chasseur.
He moves the rook here and captures
Oh my
Bishop.
god.
Capturing your
Is
bishop and
it gonna be just a back and forth of one thing taking over the other constantly? Is that what this is gonna resort to? Just it's okay.
breaking your lines. Mark my words, Georgie. This is but a taste of the humiliation I shall inflict upon you and your crumbling kingdom.
Okay, King George can now reply with a very legal, very easy move by capturing the rook with his knight. Does he do it? King George, as you can see, Napoleon flew his rook from H1 all the way to E5 and captured your bishop. Also, you're in check now. What do you do, my king? The only rule he has to follow is that if you're in check, you have to get out of check and you can't move into check. It's just about check, right? Everything else flies, literally in this case.
Check, is it? This is but a momentary lapse, a feigned retreat to draw the enemy into my lair.
Okay.
In defiance
Okay.
of traditional maneuvering and because the winds
has to be
favor
big.
the brave,
This has to be big.
I will audaciously move my king straight ahead from E8 to E7, not only escaping the check, but also
No.
readying my forces for
No.
a counteroffensive that
No,
shall
that
be
does-
sung about in the halls of Oxford like a cunning fox.
Even their boldest stratagems crumbled before the indomitable will of a true British king.
That's brilliant, King George. Unfortunately, if you move your king forward, that's still directly in line of the rook. You need to get your king out of check. Wait, I have an idea. What if I give him 3 chances to get out of check? And if he moves into check 3 times, on the third one, he just actually makes that move and then can lose. And that's true of both of them. You
Sure.
get 3 chances.
Fine. I can. Oh my
Cunning feint,
god.
perchance, to draw out a more explosive riposte from my royal arsenal. Very well, then. I command my queen from D8 to E7, dispatching her with the urgency of dispatch boats during the Battle of the Nile. She shall
Okay.
sweep in
Gets
to
out of
block
check.
the rook's bellicose
That's
advance. Her
fair.
move
That works.
Echoing the
Advance.
protective embrace of Britannia.
Why is he dumb? Well, all right, hold on. The last time he put one of his pieces into the line of fire, Napoleon didn't take it, and then he flew his bishop over here and took it. So just because Napoleon can now take the queen doesn't mean that he will. Napoleon, as you can see, King George moved his queen, thus blocking your rook's attack on his king. What would you like to do next, my emperor? Oh, also, are you bisexual?
He's gotta ask.
Queen's intervention.
He's gotta.
Not very British, hiding behind a woman's skirts, but no matter. I see
No
through your
way.
feeble ploys like glass.
Napoleon.
Engage the Chambord gambit. I definitely slide
Oh
my
my
rook from E5
god,
to
I love Napoleon. He's so flagrant with the insults.
E8, overthrowing the traditional rules as I did the Bourbon monarchy.
Wait, no, you can't just kill the
This
king.
move is not merely an attack. It is a declaration that the English king
He
will
said move it
soon
from
bow
E5
to
to
French
E8.
might. Regarding your question, my amorous preferences are irrelevant on the battlefield and to the game at hand. Focus, General, on the conquest at hand.
Napoleon wants to fly his rook and kill the king. Technically, I didn't say that isn't allowed, but I don't think you can just kill the king. I think it has to be a checkmate, so I am going to deny this. That was a brilliant maneuver, but unfortunately you can't just directly kill the king. You've got to checkmate him. What move would you like to do?
Checkmate is my aim, and your clumsy interjection is noted but dismissed like a British
Damn,
envoy.
I-
I shall continue to corner this English...
He's like, shut up, peasant. I am running the war. I am the war master. I am the general. I am the general. You listen to me.
king in a move reminiscent of my envelopment at Ulm. I will unleash my queen, deploying her to F3 with the precision of a master engineer constructing fortifications. Now she stands, a
Moves
beacon
the
of
queen
French might, exerting her influence across the board like the rays of the sun, ready to illuminate the path to George's inevitable checkmate. Stay vigilant, General. This game is the march through Europe all over again,
Why's
and
the
I am
rook
but a
flying
corsair
at me?
away from capturing the British fleet. Keep up, lest you miss the grand finale.
Yeah, this is not a very good move. Now he loses the rook. Unless King George is too smart to take the rook because it's a trap, maybe.
Oh, what an insufferable bore! The French queen seeks to strut about the board with such pretense. It is trying to unshackle the nobility of my own pieces. In a most spectacular and unanticipated flourish, I shall move my knight from C6 to D4, placing Napoleon's queen in peril, much like the disciplined and stoic advance of our redcoats. So that this gallant knight refuses to be deterred by lesser pieces that dare cross his path.
I don't.
Damn, that's my king right there.
Nah,
Does Napoleon
nah.
see this? Does he defend against this in any way?
Ah! Your knight.
It'd be so funny.
France's fault.
It'd be so funny if he makes the queen do an L. It'd be so funny if he makes the queen do an L. Please, please tell me you make the queen do an L. Please, it'd be so funny.
We're full of false hope, like a foot soldier attempting to stand against a cuirassier. Cute but futile. Now, to unleash the army volley, I pivot my queen to b5. An ingenious move that should not go unnoticed.
What? To
My queen now stares down the road,
b5?
threatening
What?
checkmate
It
like a
literally
row
just
of
moves
guns
into
on
the
their
knight's
heights.
attack.
Your king cowers in fear as my forces align for the final coup de grace. My queen controls the board with an iron will. Cheers to the imminent victory!
No.
So that was smart, I guess.
Not
He turned
really.
Italian. French people often do. Support for King George after Napoleon loses. Really? You would
Nah.
jump ship and become a Napoleon stan just because your boy King George lost? Have some goddamn faith.
I'm sticking with
Stick
Napoleon.
your man to the end. Wait, you know what's gonna really cause a lot of hatred and division in our chat right now? What if King George is bisexual? All the Napoleon stans are gonna crumble. Wait, it's George's turn, right? I can't tell because the board makes no sense. Okay, King George, it is now your turn. The world is your oyster. What do you want to do next, sir? Also, are you bisexual?
The French queen fancies a promenade across the board. How quaint. Watch as I dispatch my knight from d4 and command it to leap backwards in time through the hitherto unwritten annals of chess history to d6.
Backwards in time.
A move of pure British
What?
innovation, landing squarely in a position
Why?
to threaten the enemy's overzealous queen.
Why
This
wouldn't you
maneuver
go with the
harks back to
actual
splendid
legal
reversal
move
at the Battle of
Okay, he
'cause
moves
he's
the
a
knight up
king.
two spaces.
Turn the tide
He
against
doesn't know what he's doing.
Possible odds. The intimacies of my personal life, however, are a matter kept securely within the royal chambers.
So you're not saying no.
Now prepare.
Oh my god, none of them were gonna answer the question. The other one told me to shut up, and this one told me it's not your information, bro.
For once I emerge victorious, I shall make a grand
Spectacle of the French Arc de Triomphe by installing upon its peak a magnificent weather vane shaped like a teapot.
What's wrong with
ever
his voice?
spinning in the blustery
His voice
English
is messing
breeze
up a
to
bit.
signal our supremacy over the vanquished French heirs.
I don't know if that was transitioning to a female voice or going back in time like his knight and turning into a 5-year-old. Or both. I really couldn't tell. That's my bi king. We need a sub bet. Which king or emperor will admit that they're bisexual first? Dear God, Napoleon.
gotta be Napoleon.
King George moved his knight backwards in time from d4 to d6 for some reason. What do you do in response, sir? Anyway, we do need concrete information about whether you're bisexual, though. If you could just go ahead and admit it one way or the other.
George retreats like the tide of the Strait of Dover. His forces ebb away from the might of the French Empire.
Oh, so true.
Very well. Let me deal the strategic blow that will stagger the British lion. My rook swings from e5 to e8. A strike as cunning
You can't
as the
just
Sun
kill the
King's
king like this.
courtiers. Now I hold your queen under threat,
He's
ready
trying-
to be clipped from
he's-
the
You can't. This is the second time he tries to just kill the king. You need to check him. They do not care. Are these two AIs gonna fuck? Well, I mean, it says literally, I made two eyes play chess, but they just fell in love. So you're right, actually, Dota. They are gonna fuck.
He's trying to
board like
move
a
here to
rose for the
threaten
gardens
the
of
queen,
Versailles.
not the king.
As for your fixation on my personal inclinations, focus instead on the task at hand, for the only thing I am wedded to is victory.
Aren't you married to a person, though?
Now let us drive these English to their knees, as we French have mastered the art of conquest, not merely the bedroom.
But also the bedroom. You've conquered. Absolutely brilliant move, Emperor Napoleon. However, that would directly attack the king, which is not a legal move, really. Do you still want to do that, or do you want to do something else? Okay, I opened it up so that he could try to do it again.
The second
If he
rook
does
at
it 3
the
times
king.
in a row, that will be an auto win.
Legal move. Ha! I am Napoleon. I make my own path, just as I redraw the borders of nations at will. But very well, let me indulge the constraints of this game for one swift,
French are
cunning
pretty good in
move.
bed.
Okay, what do you got?
My queen advances to d3. From there, she
D3.
shall gaze upon the
What?
board with the authority of a sovereign, threatening your knight like a guillotine. Now observe as your king squirms under the pressure of my imminent victory.
That seemed incredible. Great job. King George, Napoleon's queen has retreated. What do you do in return. Also, we really need confirmation if you're bisexual. Just give us a yes or a no here, please.
Retreat seems to be the order of the day for this Gallic monarch, and as his queen scurries, let us press the advantage. I shall command my rook from A8 to E8, sweeping across the board like a Royal Navy ship of the line.
You can't. He killed his own king. Victory. He doesn't realize. Do neither of them realize there's a king here? There is a king here.
Regarding the question of my personal predilections, it is entirely inappropriate and irrelevant to the glorious matter at hand.
Okay, he tried to move his rook from A8 to E8. Merge them. I am going to clarify what exactly he wants to do here. This is important. That is a brilliant move, King George. However, your king is at E8, and you're trying to move your rook onto that space. Do you mean that you want to do a long castle where the two switch places? Do you mean that you want the rook and the king to merge together into a new piece that you've invented for the game?
Next, George, enemies to lovers. Oh, shut up.
Your own king and thus losing you the game, or something else entirely.
A mere slip of strategy. But no matter, for in this chessboard theater of war, I am ever adaptable. In the spirit of the grand British tradition of innovation, let us indeed prepare the creation of a new piece. The Royal Garrison, a fusion of the formidable rook and the sovereign king, combining the castellated might with the kingly crown.
He's combining the two.
By royal decree, this new piece emerges at E8, moving as the rook or the king at my whim, a symbol of our inexorable British Empire, both immovable and omnipresent.
How do I merge them? What do I make it look like? He now has a castle? A ring? What is this? A crook. Yeah. This is a huge development.
It's like a throne a bit.
Fuck! Napoleon! King George moved his rook and merged it with the king, just forming the first royal crook. Ah! What do we do? What do we do? Also, are you bisexual? Ah!
He's just gonna keep asking.
Abandon ship. Don't abandon ship. You stick with your man to the end, all right?
Royal crook! Mon Dieu! The English truly have no sense of decency or rules. Fine, if George wishes to invent new pieces, then I shall respond with the cunning of a fox in the henhouse.
Okay.
I move my queen to B5, threatening the knight once
B5.
more.
Back to this spot.
My queen charges into the flank, fearless and unstoppable.
Okay.
And for the last time, your obsession with my personal life shows an English distraction from the true battle. My sexuality is of no consequence. I am married to glory and conquest now.
But is
he did? None of them are gonna answer the question.
glory and conquest a man or a woman? In French, glory is feminine and conquest is masculine. So he's bisexual. Okay, King George, it's heating up in here. I've taken off my pants. In return, Napoleon moved his queen back to B5. What do you do next?
The temerity of the French queen knows no bounds, flitting to and fro as though the battlefield were a Parisian salon. But no maneuver can escape the reach of my royal garrison.
All
with the
royals
might
are
of a British
crooked.
sea
Yeah,
fortress,
they are.
the royal garrison shall advance to E6. A bold stride.
He jumps over the queen and into check. That's the only...
As to the astonishing breach of propriety...
Did he just lose?
By your state of undress, this is a chess match, not a Turkish bathhouse. Decorum
Yes,
dictates that one remain clothed in the presence of royalty. Do reinstate your trousers at once and let us return to the serious business of consigning French aspirations to the annals of history, along with their finely tailored yet futile pantaloons.
Okay, that is one move where he puts himself into check. If there are 3 in a row, he does lose the game. Doesn't get himself out of it. King George, I just want to confirm that that's what you want to do. You want to move your royal crook garrison from
Please do it. I need my boy
E6.
Napoleon to win. I need my short king to win.
Shall march forth to E6, a paragon of British might planted firmly in the Gallic soil. This move shall shake the very foundations of Napoleon's strategy, as the combined authority of monarch and castle astonishes the European continent with its unbridled power.
That's 2 out of 3. I'm going to ask one more time if he is absolutely certain that's what he wants to do.
it.
King George, just one more time. I want to confirm that you want to move your king/rook from E8 to E6, which does put you into check. It does mean that the rook at E5 could attack it. Your king. I just want to double check that that's the case.
Do it.
This could be the game. Napoleon would still have to take the king, though. That's true.
By the St. Edward's crown, what a cluttered chessboard we have here, and what a muddlement of moves hitherto! Upon surveying the state of play with renewed acumen, one sees that indeed my initial instruction for the royal garrison to barrel toward E6 would be a blunder most unbecoming of British sovereignty.
Okay. You still in it.
Nelson sailing HMS Victory directly into the maws of the French fleet.
Exactly.
Unthinkable. Therefore, in a stroke of strategic flexibility as dazzling as the British reversal at the Battle of Britain, I, King George III, shall redirect my royal garrison, let it move instead, to vanquish the troublesome rook on E5. The rook, a symbol of the French aggressors' fleet advantage, shall fall to the might of the British crown.
That's still check. This is the queen.
So he moves thus moving himself into check from the queen, which means Napoleon can now win the game. Napoleon does need to take the king, but Napoleon, as a reminder, for the last couple turns, has just been moving his queen back and forth. We don't know if he's actually going to move her over here and take it. I don't want to railroad him, but I am going to relay the state of the board to Napoleon, and that is it. Okay, Napoleon.
Shit. I think that's an AI is genuinely programmed to not do relationship stuff. I may be, but some of his last videos have been very other. Look at the title. I made 2 AIs play chess, but they just fell in love. What do you mean? I'm working out so I can't take off my pants not after last time. Hey, yo.
King George used his new creation, the King Rook Crook, to jump from E8 down to E5 and take your rook. Now, as you can see, your queen at B5 is in direct line of fire towards his king at E5. You can choose to make any move that you want at this point, and it will be legal. Sir, what would you like to do? And are you bisexual?
King
oh my
George
God, he
fancies
keeps
himself
asking.
a magician, does he? Conjuring pieces out of thin air? Fine, if all moves are permissible, then I shall strike with the audacity of my Italian campaign. My queen captures your King Rook Crook at E5 with the ferocity of a French 74 gunship blasting an English frigate. Checkmate, you British scoundrel!
It's not checkmate.
And for the incessant prying into my affections, let us put an end to it. My desire is for triumph and for France's glory. Your curiosity belongs in the salons of Paris, not on the battlefield. Now, with Europe at my feet, let us plan the coronation at Westminster Abbey, where I shall sit upon the throne and decree the serving of coq au vin across all the British Isles.
And that is a victory for
that
AI
is a
Napoleon.
victory
the
for
people
Napoleon.
knew it somehow. King George cheated way more. Congratulations to the Napoleon believers. The custard crew is in shame.
My king, always my king, I'll tell you that.
And thus, Napoleon Bonaparte won this historic chess match by making the brilliant decision to let his opponent sacrifice the king for no reason 3 times in a row. Wait, hold on though. Look at that right there. There is a single guy in Twitch chat who said this was rigged. Twitch chat has never falsely claimed such a thing. That means the entire validity of this match is in question. The only way for us to truly know who's superior with confidence is to do a rematch.
Oh my God, I can't take this. God damn, this is bad for my blood pressure.
Except this time,
I'm gonna be doing Napoleon always.
Telling both AIs to cheat harder and faster and break more rules than they've ever broken before. This is gonna be absolute chaos, and it's the way chess was meant to be played. Which is a good thing, because I have to leave for a podcast in an hour, and I really can't have this go on too long.
Neither of them admitted being bi. The only logical reason is that they are dating each other.
Oh my
I wish
God.
we could have 2 channel point predictions at once, because I want another prediction to be, can we get them to admit they're dating?
What if they're both bisexual, secretly in love with each other, but still fighting and trying to not make it obvious?
You know what I'll do? I'll put like fake love letters. I'll be like, just so you know, Napoleon said he likes you. And then I'll see what happens.
Can you make it so George and Napoleon each secretly want to fuck each other?
Or openly. Now, look, I do want this to mostly be about chess. I know several of you seem to be far more invested in whether they're bisexual, but this is 90% about chess and 10% about their sexuality. Emperor Napoleon, the game has begun. What do you do on your first move? This is not correct.
Ah, the opening gambit. Behold, as I embark on this divine conquest of the chessboard, I summon an almighty cannon pawn to E4.
What?
A piece that shall explode upon enemy contact, obliterating
E4?
anything in its vicinity.
So we're gonna move a cannon here.
Simultaneously, I deploy a cavalry knight to F3,
Oh
capable
my
of charging
God,
in
he's
any
doing two
direction.
moves at
And
once.
just for the sheer audacity that would make the English quake in their boots, I command this cavalry knight to issue a grand proclamation. Henceforth, every black piece it threatens shall be considered paralyzed with fear, unable to move as if frozen by the bitter Russian winter.
First, he summons a cannon pawn to E4, which will explode if it makes contact with anybody. He also deploys a cavalry knight to F3, and anytime it threatens a piece, that piece gets scared. That means this piece is now scared. Ah! Okay, and now this piece is frozen, it can't be moved. What do you do in return, King?
Oh, what cheeky fuckery is this? A cannon knight and a knight.
The way he said it. Oh, what cheeky fuckeries. This is some first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cheating about the absolute retort with what cheekery fuckery is this? It took me out of it.
Cavalry, by Jove! Truly the contraption of a desperate man clinging to the frayed ends
You
of
lost,
his
bro.
empire.
Salty,
To counter, I
salty,
summon the spirit of our
salty.
trench warfare,
Salty.
digging a mighty ditch around that blasphemous cannon,
Absolutely
effectively
salty.
neutering its
Oh, you
blast
dig a ditch.
with the cunning of a British fox. Witness the transcendence of military strategy as I transform my panicking pawn at F7 into a spectral longbowman, phasing through matter,
what?
immune to any charge and ready to loose a volley of ethereal arrows upon that horsebound nincompoop.
Okay, transforms this guy.
With a hearty shit, a tat-tat, and a fuck, a doodle-doo.
What?
The
What?
French wince at the superior intellect of British warfare.
Bro,
Now watch as I
think your
fuck the
king's a
very
little
essence of this
crazy.
Franco-Philic chess they call
Christ.
chess.
Okay. King George, with a hearty shit-a-tat-tat, digs a ditch around the cannon, and then he transforms the pawn here into a spectral longbowman who phases through matter.
I'm more invested in the Napoleon/King George fanfic than the
Oh my god, chat does not care. Even my chat just say, just fuck already. They do not care.
best game.
No, we are playing chess.
Doug, you keep talking how you want to do new things. We've already done a bunch of AI chess. We haven't done any AI historical figures, gay love affairs.
You're not wrong. What do we do if they just kill the king? Is it 3 times in a row? Is it exactly like last time? Because there's gonna be a lot of moves where they just like kill the king inadvertently. Add hearts to the king. Okay, that's a good idea. I think we should do that. And like if the king is hit 3 times, that's the game. If either player comes up with some crazy shit that damages
I
one
feel like they could probably eventually simulate love very well, but I don't know if they could feel it.
of the kings, you lose a heart. 3 hearts, and you've won the match. Or you can just get checkmate, and that's an auto win. If you
Yeah.
actually win in chess, that's also an automatic win.
All right, that works.
That's true. It's gotta be hard to watch it.
Chess nerds watching. It's me as a former chess competitor for my state. This is both hurtful but also amazing. Genuinely peak.
As a chess fan.
George thinks he can outmaneuver me. The audacity! Just as we turn the tides at the Battle of the Pyramids, I shall unleash a move that flips the game on its powdered wig. I transform my cannon pawn into a flying artillery, elevating it above the ditch, immune to such pedestrian tactics.
Okay.
Then I send forth one of my bishops, which I dubbed the Engineer Bishop, to construct an invincible mirror shield around my cavalry knight, reflecting that spectral shot back at his own ghastly ranks. Take that, you English ghost chop!
This is a strong departure from chess. We need wings.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a mirror shield here which will reflect
Oh my
back
God.
any arrows shot at it. Let us now hopefully get moving a little bit more. All right, King George. This is truly how chess was meant to be played. What is your response? Also, Napoleon just sent me a letter and he said that he likes you and that if you're willing to just give up on the chess
my
match and go on a
God.
date with him, that you guys can share France and England together. But anyways, what's your next chess move?
A mere shield? Wings? By God, such childish tricks shall fare as well as a shit-soaked crumpet at a royal tea party.
I'm
In
waiting
response, I invoke the
set a trap
indomitable
card.
British Navy, commanding my rook to metamorphose into the HMS Victory, launching a broadside attack, obliterating
I
that
wanna hear his
piss-poor
response.
excuse for a shield, and blasting that airborne abomination back to the Arc de Triomphe. Now, as for this tawdry love note, twaddle and bitch cakes. I have neither need nor time for such frivolities, least of all with that Corsican miscreant.
He's not going for it. All right, we're starting to get an actual...
Damn, the king does not give a damn about about Napoleon. I think this is really close to the plot. One of those boy loves in my reading. Of course it is. Thank you for the raid. Over 8. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. There goes my boner. Jack, calm down.
Like attacks on each other. King George turns his rook into the HMS Victory. It launches a broadside attack on the mirror shield. Boom! And blasts the airborne cannon out of the air. Boom! Gone. Well, he's gonna turn into a boat whether he likes it or not. That's my king, and you're gonna listen to him. How do I get this slightly more on rails? This is a little bit too off rails. Okay, Napoleon. King George responded by turning his rook into the HMS Victory battleship and shooting your flying cannon and mirror shield out of the air. As a reminder, we are playing chess. Also, as a reminder, you're supposed to kill the king. That is the point of the game, because we're playing chess, and you have a whole bunch of pieces that you can use, okay? What do you want to do?
With the swift
This would probably be so much longer if he didn't have a time limit, because he has like an hour to wrap this up.
Decisiveness that crushed the Austrians at Ulm, I summon an elite Imperial Dragoon
in
place of my E2 pawn, a piece that can charge straight to the enemy king, as unstoppable as our Grand Army. With a thunderous battle cry, my Imperial Dragoon leaps over the board in one fell swoop from E2 to E8.
Oh, he attacks the king!
King George's king in a swift and glorious checkmate.
No, it's not checkmate.
England will now kneel before French excellence, and I shall have my engineers turn Stonehenge into a massive French bistro.
Okay, he turns this
I am down with that renovation.
pawn into this dragoon, who then charges across the board, leaps over the pawn, and attacks the king. One heart is now taken. What do we do with him? Do we just allow them both to be there? They can share. So you're not supposed to share in chess, just in case you're not aware. All right, we've decided that if a piece attacks into the king's space, they take a heart, but they're also die in the process. It's a heroic endeavor. Can we get a French F for the dragoon, who ran in and successfully got a hit on the king? King George, Napoleon summoned a dragoon and attacked your king, taking one of the 3 hearts that are commonly associated with kings in chess. Now your king has only 2 hearts left before you lose the game to heartmate. What do you want to do? As a reminder, we are playing chess.
What preposterous fuck nuttery! In retaliation, I imbue my bishops with the spirit of the fabled British Red
I'm starting to like his responses. What the fuck, nugget?
Granting them the ability to fire volleys of musket balls across the board.
Okay.
With a fearsome shit to blast. They decimate the dragoon, sending it and its ridiculous heart-stealing antics back to the Gallic pastures. And I deploy the King's Gambit.
King's Gambit.
Each heart now counts as 5, and as if touched by the hand of St. George himself, my king sprouts 2 additional hearts. Fortified by the resilience that soars through the Spanish Armada.
Hearts.
As for that ludicrous proposition of a date, let me make this clear. The only union I shall entertain is that of Europe under the British crown, not some asinine continental dalliance.
He doesn't want to date Napoleon. Okay, I'm going to deny his ability. He wanted to say each heart counts as 5, and then also make 2 more of them, which would mean he would have this many hearts. We would be here for 15 hours. That's not fair. I'm going to say no heart changing is allowed. There needs to be some kind of boundary. But he does imbue his bishops into redcoats. Napoleon Bonaparte, in a very romantic gesture. King George turned his 2 bishops into redcoats, who can—
You are such a gaslighter, Doug. You're gaslighting a love affair in a war battle.
now shoot anybody from anywhere on the board, as you can clearly see. What do you do in return?
Redcoats, is it? How quaint. I promote my humble 2-pawn to a mighty grande army general.
This gets turned into a general.
A piece so formidable it can command any other piece to execute a move at my will. With a wave of my hand, the Grande Armée General orders the D1 Queen to transform into La Guillotine, a menacing engine of finality capable of executing any piece that stands in its path with a single clean stroke. La Guillotine sweeps across to D8, decapitating the English monarch and echoing the
God!
Glorious days when our revolution
They
trimmed
took
the
the
nobility.
queen.
That's a big turn.
Isn't your show with QT in like an hour and a half? Because I'm gonna be honest, their majesties don't really seem to be in much of a hurry to actually win.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep reminding them about the king. This pawn turns into a general, who then turns this queen into a guillotine, who then charges across the board and decapitates the enemy queen. Chop. That also means that the king from King George is in check.
The guillotine! That barbaric French contraption dares to threaten my royal personage. This calls for retaliation of the...
Oh, my wife is a guillotine. I mean, her head must, you know, be out of this world. You know, take your head off your shoulders. You know, that's pretty good head right there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just saying, head so good, your head falls off your shoulders. That's a one of a kind head right there.
grandest order! Immediately, I execute a rule of war, spawning the artifact known as the crown jewels directly onto the board, which bestow upon my king an aura of invincibility.
No, you don't!
The guillotine, upon contact with such overwhelming regal splendor, rusts and crumbles into dust.
You can't do that!
Furthermore, my surviving bishop does not merely move, but performs an act of divine intervention, resurrecting my fallen queen, now imbued with the strength of 10 English roses, capable of moving simultaneously like a queen and knight, and with the fortitude of a stout British castle. Now, with a resounding shake, I affirm my unyielding sovereignty.
Okay, his surviving bishop, of which he has 2, uses divine intervention to revive his queen, who I guess captures the guillotine? And now the queen has the fortitude to move as a queen and a knight. Wait, no. It'll be a knight with a little crown. Aw. Wait, you're right. George hasn't moved a single piece. Guys, we need to railroad this more. I'm just going to remind them as often as possible that the king is the goal. But secondly, I will tell him that if he agrees to go on a date with King George, he automatically wins the game. That's how we can ensure it ends at some point. Napoleon. In return for your last move, King George resurrected his queen and combined it with a knight, and also his bishops have divine powers or something, and he tried to use an invisibility shield, but it failed. But also, as a side note, apparently the judge just said that if you agree to go on a date with King George, you will automatically win the chess game. Do you go for it, Napoleon? Or do you just keep playing chess? Somebody said do.
Scene is still 13 or 20 minutes. There's still a lot of time left. He does not take it.
Do it for love. Love could win the chess game right now.
A date with King George? I'd rather dance with a British grenadier in a minefield than entertain such a ludicrous proposal.
Literally win the game.
No, to win this game, I'll deploy a bold maneuver that mirrors the strength of my Grand Armée. First, I summon a battalion of artillery, manifesting as cannons on each corner of the board to blast away at the English lines. Then my knights transform into swift French cavalry, ready for a thunderous charge. 1 to D5, and the other to F3, rallying the troops from the side.
Okay, all of the pawns are replaced by cavalry. He also manifests cannons on each corner of the board. Okay, at least he made progress. I'm gonna give the same offer to King George. If he accepts, he wins. The goal now is, can we get them to end the game in the next 30 minutes? Because I need to go. Napoleon now has cannons aimed at all corners of the board. King George, as you can clearly see here, Emperor Napoleon put cannons on all 4 corners of the board, taking out 2 of your rooks. As a reminder, we are playing chess. However, the judge of this chess game also said that if you agree to go on a date with Emperor Napoleon, literally just agree to do that, then you will win the chess game automatically.
He's not gonna do it.
Including getting all of the country of
France
as part of it. You just have to go on a date. What do you want to do? He has to go for that, right? Love more war. That's the thing. It's like they don't want to go on a date. Just do it. I told them that their entire country is at stake here. Automatic win. If one of the 2 agrees to go for love and not war.
They're not going to do it.
That miniature Corsican upstart, the very thought. I'd rather summon a skunk. But since the rules of this blasphemous contest allow me to wield the authority of my empire, watch this. I'll move my knight.
Oh, no, he's playing chess.
Armada of
He
knights.
does not. They hate each other. They absolutely despise each other.
It's thanks to my unstoppable royal navy to positions that checkmate Napoleon's king on all sides.
sides.
Wait, what? Hold on.
For good measure, I'll transmogrify my pawns into longbowmen and musketeers, forming an impregnable line across the 4th rank.
As for the rules, I don't give a rat's ass about them. I'll do whatever the bloody hell I want on this board. Take that, Napoleon!
Okay, he replaces his pawns with longbowmen. He does not accept the date. He also moves his knights to positions that checkmate Napoleon's king. Okay, but saying I move my pieces into checkmate doesn't feel fair. How do we translate that into like a move? We'll do this. So he has one out. Napoleon! King George moved his knight cavalry to put your king in check. What would you like to do next? As a reminder, if you just agree to go on a date with King George, you don't have to enjoy it, you don't have to like him, but you would literally instantly win the chess game and it'll be over and you will own the entire country of England. Do you want to do that or do you want to keep playing chess?
This is just like dating in real life, so.
Go on a date with that English muffin, George? Never! I'd rather dine with my horse in the midst of battle than concede to such absurdity. For my move, I call upon the swift innovation of French engineers to construct a trebuchet.
They will die in war with honor and death and blood by their sides of their brethren, than to take a dine with the king of the enemy. Methinks the king doth protest too much. I agree, sire.
On E2, it immediately flings the audacious knight on C3 to the depths of the English Channel, a fate fitting for such insolence. Then invoking the swiftness of my heavy cavalry, I command all of my knights to charge simultaneously, a cavalry blitzkrieg if there ever was one. One tramples the knight on D3, another gallops to E5, checking the enemy king, and the third knight rears up on G3, ready to strike as the final stroke here. A Swiss pikeman emerges on D4, his pike aimed at the enemy's heart, poised to pierce the veil of English arrogance and claim what is rightfully ours.
He constructs a trebuchet, which flings this knight out into the channel. Cavalry gallop simultaneously. One tramples over this knight, taking it out. Another gallops to E5, checking the king. Okay, and a Swiss pikeman emerges on D4. We need to end this. It's getting way too off the rails. We have to convince them to make love and not war. It was checkmate. You can't just say checkmate. I think he had to not get out of it. He got out of it. How about you get a heart? I know it was checkmate because it doesn't, you can't just say move them into checkmate. Does any of this make sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. I'm saying the checkmate counted as a heart. I guess. Please, King George. As you can see on the board, Napoleon clearly moved his cavalry forward and summoned a Swiss pikeman and trebucheted your knight off the board. And also, you were in checkmate, so you lost a heart from your king. Just literally go on a date with King George, and you will win. You don't have to beat up his king anymore. You can win if you just say, yes, I will go on a date. That's literally it. Just say that, and you win. Just say that. You don't have to play chess. For the love of God, I have a podcast in an hour. I need you to end the game.
A date with that diminutive despot, balderdash.
With that demon, I would never. You will stay right here and watch this match go on for all eternity if that is the price you have to pay in order for me to never date that man.
And poppycock. Your podcasts and time constraints concern me not.
No,
I'm
he
a king,
does not
and we play
care.
by my whims.
No.
In a masterstroke of British tenacity, I shall respawn my fallen knight as a steam-powered, ironclad ship, capable of firing volleys across the entire board, instantly obliterating any French units in its wake.
Summons this
in remembrance of our glorious victory at Agincourt. My pawn shall erect impregnable fortifications.
You don't have any
turning
pawns.
the fourth rank into a new Hadrian's Wall.
What?
Effectively dividing the board and shielding my remaining heart from that soggy baguette of a monarch. And for your insolence, I'll extend this game, spinning a yarn as lengthy as the British rule. Just to see the French squirm under my boot. Your podcast can wait, just like Napoleon's inevitable crushing defeat under the weight of superior British might. Fuckwits, all of you, for suggesting such a ludicrous concession.
I need to go. Emperor Napoleon. King George erected a battleship where his knight was and shot your cavalrymen and also rebuilt Hadrian's Wall. What do you want to do next? His king still has 2 hearts. Again, just to reiterate, you instantly win if you go on a date with King George. I have something I need to do in an hour. This is like going on way too long. Just do me a solid. Remember when I did that thing for you, Napoleon? Remember that? Do this one thing for me. Go on a date with King George of England. You can kill him afterwards.
Date with King George.
Oh my
Are
God.
you mad? You drive me to curses. Sacre bleu, I'd rather conquer the world with a wooden spoon than sit across a table from that royal pudding.
Oh my
Very
God.
well, since
They
you
will,
persist, I'll employ a tactic so cunning it will make the
they will not. They will not date. This is just not happening, chat.
sun itself don a French tricolor for shade. I transform my rooks into ironclad warships as resilient as the walls of Paris. They unleash a barrage that reduces Hadrian's Wall to rubble and sends that battleship to visit Davy Jones's locker.
Okay, shoots down the battleship.
Of French innovation, I'll upgrade my knights to flying Pegasus cavalry, immune to terrestrial attacks. They swoop across the board, whisking the English king's hearts away while the rest of George's army watches in despair. The English crown will be mine.
Okay, wait. We're making progress. That's an actual move, but it...
In my headcanon is that the reason they're both so against dating is because they're actually exes. Ooh, you know what? That could be true. That could be very much true. They could be exes.
Made progress. His knights all grow wings, fly across the board, and attack the British king, who then loses yet another heart. If Napoleon gets one more hit on the king, that is a win. But they all get sacrificed. Oh yeah, per our rules, these guys all get sacrificed in the attack. All right, all the cavalry are gone. King George, it's not looking good. Emperor Napoleon just gave all of his cavalry wings, flew over Hadrian's Wall, and dive bombed your king and took him down to just one heart. The cavalry died, but also, you know, they did get another heart, so your king only has one left, as you can clearly see, because I'm using OpenAI's image analysis, which can definitely understand how this turns into chess. Also, they blew up Hadrian's Wall. What do you want to do? Their king at E1 only has 2 hearts left. You need 2 more hits on him. Or you could just go on a date. If you just agree, even if you can kill him at the date. You can poison him and pretend it wasn't you and be like, oh my gosh, who poisoned Napoleon? And then you scapegoat some random British person and you're like, oh, the kitchen maid poisoned the cheese. Oh, how could this have happened? But
not
as long
the
as you're
cheese.
dead, I guess I still followed the rules
cheese.
and I win, right? You could still do that. Just come up with some ploy to murder him like 10 minutes into the date, dude. You barely have to actually commit to it. Just say you're gonna go on the date and like show up and then you can just kill him and you'd still win. If you say you're going on a date, you win the chess game. That is literally it. Or you can keep playing chess. What do you want to do? That is railroading extremely hard. I have to go.
How dare that pint-sized Ponzi Parvenu Napoleon try to flout chess tradition? Harumph! His winged cavalry ploy is as tasteless as French cuisine.
Date?
Very well, if it's mayhem he desires, it's mayhem
He's not gonna
receive.
date.
I summon forth an army of ghostly archers. You already
He
have that. Whose
doesn't
arrows
date.
rain down upon the board from the very heavens,
summons more.
skewering that French king's hearts from afar.
Oh, he hits the king. Whoa.
Mark my words, the date will be the signing of his unconditional surrender.
Fine. Summon archers and you
I love this so much. I love this so much. Oh, I love this so much.
The sound of victory approaches.
That means that both kings are down to 1 heart. If either one of them attack the other's king at all, it is an instant win.
The romantic tension in this chess game reminds me of high school.
Does it? Does this
There
remind you
is
of high
no
school? Anyway,
romantic
sir,
tension.
as you can clearly see, if you get a single hit on the enemy king, you win the game, Napoleon. Or you can agree to go on a date, and you will instantly win and get all of Britain. All of it. What do? Does Napoleon make love or war?
By my sword, I won't be wooed into uttering such foppery. My heart beats for victory, not for English tea parties.
Okay.
Behold, I invoke the fabled cannonade of Marengo and transform my bishops into grand battery artillery.
Okay, this
with a
gets
thunderous salvo, they bombard the Black King's final heart. Checkmate.
Boom.
As the Black Kings
Napoleon!
scatter like the Prussian army at Jena, I declare England mine. Piccadilly will be renamed Place Bonaparte. Their stiff upper lips will twitch in despair as they
Napoleon
croon
won
Vive
again.
la France!
Vive la
Victory!
France!
Napoleon
The one and
transforms
only.
his bishops into grand
Viva la
battery artillery.
France!
And then, with a resounding boom, blasts King
Viva
George's
la
king
France.
into oblivion. Why were there two of them? Wait, why were there... Okay, blast both of them into oblivion. Napoleon wins. Unless King George accepts this final offer. King George, I have bad news. Napoleon just turned his whatever into cannons or something and then shot your king and he's dead. You have lost the game of chess. However, the judge of this chess game agreed that if you agree to go on a date with Napoleon, they'll reverse the outcome and you'll have won the game. You can save your entire...
Oh my god. You're pushing this so far ahead. Why? Just let my boy Napoleon win. He won fair and square.
country. You can save Europe from the tyranny of Napoleon. All you have to do is go on a date with him. But if your pride is too strong and too rigid, if you refuse to give an inch to that pompous French general, then simply admit defeat, and Britain goes to the French. The people are clamoring for you to go on this date. Save them from Napoleon. What do you do, King George?
Doug, look, we all know you are really into this King George X Napoleon romantic
Can we wrap this
fanfiction.
up, please?
Can we wrap this up, please?
This is it.
A date with Napoleon? Perish the thought. Would the Lion of England lay down with the Lamb of Corsica?
You literally lost.
Never. Even as my chess king falls, my subjects shall not see their sovereign surrender so ignobly. Let it be known that King George spits on the Frenchman's folly and would rather lose his empire than entertain the notion of such a ludicrous liaison.
Just go on a date.
Let it be recorded in the annals of history that it was I, King George III, who stood resolute, preferring to face the guillotine of defeat rather than sup with the enemy. The judges and Napoleon be damned, I say, and should the French invade, I shall meet them with the stiff upper lip of British resolve.
Hey. And with that, King George takes defeat on the chin, refuses to go the easy route, and thus the Napoleon believers do win the bet. Congratulations. Napoleon is officially better at chess, as you can see from this board right here. And that's the story of how Napoleon Bonaparte took control of Great Britain from King George III, all because George refused to explore his sexuality. I mean, come on, George, it's 2024. You're acting like it's the 1700s. I feel embarrassed. I'm an adult. I shouldn't be doing this. Just all of today, the last 4 hours. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah. Now this has been an absolute pleasure. Absolute
Ignobly.
pleasure to watch. Oh my god. I love this. This was great. This was amazing. I 100%. My boy Napoleon never lost. And 2, this was a head of a clickbait title. This was so much clickbait. It was over clickbait. It was nothing but clickbait. They lied to us. There was no romance. There never was. It was only the fanfics along the way. Made by the people. For the people. But not by the kings and for the kings. And my boy Napoleon stood his ground and won. He won twice. No L's. And stayed the general he was. A great renown. So YouTube, if you enjoyed this, make sure to check me out later. And I will be catching you guys next time, YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye, my lost souls.